Hello, and welcome here to my 100-day project. It is the last whole week in this project, and I can't quite believe where time has gone. It has gone so quick this year. It's the 8th time I'm doing this 100-day project, and I really like doing this project once a year. If you not know what I'm talking about, the 100-day project is a worldwide thing where you in 100 days in a row decide to do something, and you can decide to do anything. That is totally up to you what you want to do. You can collage or paint or draw or knit or whatever you fancy to do. You just have to do it in 100 days in a row, and something will always happening during that process. You will develop something, and that is the nice thing about this. Everything I talks about when I say there is a link to, you can find it here under the video, under the little word more. And there you can find the playlist for this project here and find week 1, and there I will explain much more about my decisions and what it is about. There are links for the last 2 or 3 years projects where I have been doing the 100-day project. So look for them if you're interested in seeing what I have done the other years. And else there will be links if I say something there. I also have divided all my content up in playlists, so it is much easier for you to find what interests you instead of scrolling all of the way down through all the videos that's lying there. But else I only want to say one little peep more, and I don't very much like to say this, but I have a Ko-fi account if anybody wants to support my work here with my channel, so I can keep on making videos for you. And also the link is for people who are doing my embroidery challenge, the circle show challenge. There's also a link there, but in any way, don't feel obligated. But else, I don't think I want to say anything more other than I'm Danish, so pardon my sometimes bumpy English and I'm missing words. But all of you have been so nice. If I have a word I miss and I don't know what it is, you tell me that. And I try to remember most of them, but I'm turning 70 here at the end of the year, and my brain isn't what it was once, so I have a hard time remembering much of the new words I learned. But some of them will stick with me, and others will go out again, and so it must be. But I think you can understand what I'm saying, and you can see what I'm doing. So let's get going with there is another thing I want to say. Previously, I had a red cardboard box. I put all my pieces in, and this year my pieces are round circles. They are, what was it, 12 centimeter? Yeah, 12 centimeter in diameter. And there was so much in this round red cardboard box, so the lid jumped off, and I have been looking for perhaps to extend it so I could have all my 100 pieces in. But a couple of days ago I was in our local charity shop, and I found this cookie can jar. I'm not quite sure what it's called, and I can squeeze them in there, and there has to be 9 more in, and I think it can go there. The only thing is I don't like the look of it, so I think I will paint it in some color. But this is a better solution, to put them all 100 in here, and the lid won't jump off. So that's, and I gave $1 or so for it, and a very cheap one. So now my 100-day projects for 2026 can live in this box here. So that is very nice. Okay, let us do the first one here in this week, and that is day, day 92, I think. Yeah. So I want to use this fabric here, and again it is some leftovers from my friend, and I have also decided to incorporate a tea bag, or part of a tea bag here, in this week's small pieces. And also I have this very, very thick paper. I can't remember where I got it from or what it is, but at some point yeah, I can't remember why. Probably I needed the small black things I punch out here. I have a hole punch, and because I needed these small black dots for something, and then I ended up with these strips. So I also want to put a piece of that into my circle for in this week's challenge here, like this week's small pieces. So yeah, let us see what I can come up with. A strip of that, and I have this here I could use, or I also have this one. I think it could need some lighter fabrics here. It is quite dark, this fabric here. So let us see if that would look nice. Yeah, I think it does. So sorry if you can hear my stomach. It isn't so late in the, like, it is. I haven't been eating anything yet, so my stomach is making noises. So pardon if you can hear that. Yeah, I think I will go with that, and then I perhaps can put a strip of this in here. But I think I will glue these down first before I decide the strip of the black heavy paper. So there and there. Let us start taking some decisions. So switch off with that, and there it goes. And then I need a small strip of this. That is too small. I don't think I have anything here, do I? That's a little bigger. Yeah, then I will have to again. I will just cut it there. And fingers in your ears. Sorry. And there. That is better. And then I can cut a strip of that off also. There. This is a fabric I have rust dyed myself. And I really like these thread edges here. They are so yummy. There. And there. So this is the way I will be gluing the fabrics and the tea bag down. So I just take a glue stick, and I will show it now, and I won't show you all this gluing anymore here in this video, because if you have been following along here for the rest of the other nearly 100 days, you know how I do this. But if you're new here, you perhaps would like to see how I do it. So here we go. There. Let me see how far out I'm coming here. Yeah, I need to put a little up there and a little down there. But luckily I think perhaps I can let me see, take a little of this here and place it here. So all counts. On with that there, and we can do the same with this piece that's hanging over here. On with that there. And I really like this grungy look here. So on with that and down to the circumference with that there. And then I will just put glue on here. Of course you could have used matte medium or another kind of glue, but this dries quite fast and I like that, and since it is just for my pleasure and my own amusement doing this 100-day project, and it isn't a museum's piece, it doesn't matter that it's not archival and it's just a glue stick. But of course, if you want to do things that will hold for a lot of years and not fall off, use another medium than a glue stick. There. And there, for the last, again, I will also just, let's get away with these here. Put glue on here and go in a little over here. There. And whoopsie. Now I have glued my things down, and this is just some old pages for a book I'm using for gluing on, so I don't get glue on my felt here. But it needs a couple of minutes to dry, so it's easier to cut all the hangovers there off, and it is also much easier to stitch into the fabrics when it's dry, because it isn't so nice to stitch into wet glue. Yeah. So I will be back when this is dry. This is week 14, and since it is the last 7 for a whole week, and then there's of course two more, I decided to go for my favorite colors, and this is these rust earthy brownish colors, and you could see on the little intro here to the video all the different fabrics I had, and the tea bags is fitting in so nicely to these colors here, I think. So let us see what I can come up with. I think this is so dry, so I can work further on it. And I've decided to put this little something here, and perhaps I want, sorry for my arm, to cut this a little more straight there, to put this there. I think I will go for that, and that is a little something that it needs a little more than that. And then I have these small black, yeah, they are white on the back side, but small dots here also, so I would also like to put one of these on here. So now the question is, do I want to put it this way or that way here? Somehow I like to see the tea bag up through the holes here. So perhaps I will go for it that way. Yeah, do I do that or do I do it the other way around? Go like this. Yeah, you can play until you figure out what you like and what you don't like. Perhaps that is better. I will go for it this way here. So I have taken my, again, very hush orange mercerized cotton thread, and I will just give that a dab of glue before, so it isn't sliding around here when I'm sewing it down. And there. I ain't going to stitch into it, so it doesn't matter. So here I will just take my needle and pre-poke. So I pre-poke here and come up, and then we'll just go down here. poke here, there, and go all the way out here, there, and the same here. It's no problem stitching into this watercolor disc here, and the fabric now it's dry from the glue. So yeah. There. And again. Yeah, all these stitching here. But that is what makes my pieces exciting, I think, putting stitching on. There. And there. And down the ropes here. It is very chunky, the black paper, so that is hard to stitch on into. So I just secured it this way here. There. And then there was this little black dot lot. Again, I'll just put a piece of glue on it and put it, I think I will let it go over the line there. Yeah. And I will just also make a star over it so I can secure that. Again, pre-poke, down, pre-poke, go down here, there, there, and for the last little cross, it is just 4 crosses overlapping each other, and we end up with this little star. It isn't a star stitch, but it looks like a star stitch. There. So now these are secured. So now I have to figure out to do some stitching, and I think stitching into this, it will drown in all this text. So the thing I was wondering about was doing some French knots, and either put them in this area here or in this area here. So I will give it a little thought and be back. So here it is, a lot of small French knots there, and that looks quite yummy. So I will consider this done. So let us write here day 92, and it is the 24th of May 2026. Yeah, and this was a fine one. I really like these colors. Good morning, and welcome to day 93. It is the 25th of May, and I have been up early here and already made my little piece for today. Same concept as yesterday with the black paper and the little black dot. And here again I have just made a line, 3 lines of running stitches with another orange color. And to make the lines here very neat and even, I pre-poke my holes, and I do that by I have my plastic thing here I use when I pre-poke, but I just take my ruler and line it up where I want the line there, for instance there, and then I just poke up to the line there, and that way my holes will be lying very neat and in a fine row, instead of if I just eyeball it, and sometimes I eyeball it, it depends on what I want, then I just poke. But here I wanted my lines to be really neat, so that's why I use a ruler when I pre-poke. So that's also a way you can make your holes that way. But these are the same things. Some rush dyed tea and another fabric there. So that was all from today for today. So hi, see you tomorrow. Hi, and welcome to day 94. And again, I have been up pretty early and made my piece here. I have a lot going on today, so I thought I better get it done. So again, the paper strip and the little black dot here, and here 3 different fabrics. This fabric and this fabric, and yeah, this is not fabric, that is a tea bag again, but and a row of very neat cross stitches there. And I really like this one here. So let us write here day, yeah, no pencil marker there, day 94. And it is the 26th of May 2026. Yeah, and I know I write it a little different but than you Americans perhaps do, but that doesn't matter so much. I really like this piece here. So see you tomorrow, and then tomorrow I will show you how I make it and not just show you the finished piece. Hello, and welcome to day 95 here, and it is the 27th of May. So let us see what I can come up with today. I have this square piece of fabric here, and I think I will put that here and put the tea bag. It's a very light tea bag, but that is okay. Put that up here, and then I have these 2 small pieces here. So do I want them that way or that way? I will have to play a little with that. I think I need to do it this way because I have to cover the whole circle. There and there. And then this perhaps can go there. Yeah, I think this would work. And then I have this strip here of this squared pattern. And again, of course, I also had that one. No, let us go with this one here. Do I put it on here? Perhaps like that. And then I have to decide to put my little black piece somewhere. And since this is a quite big piece, I think I will go for a little piece of that. But I will decide where to put this as soon as I have glued these on. And that I will just do by myself. You have seen me gluing a lot. So I will glue these on, and then I will be back. Yeah, I know I laid it up differently than it looks now, but I think it was too much fabric on here. So I found another little snoot of that. And again, this was there before. So it ended up like this because I think my black piece is looking better that way here. It's not so, yeah, I think this looks better than the other way I did it. And that is again your artistic right to change things if you don't like them so much. And this is just paper and some fabric, so change what you want to change and say that is that. So I will sew this on exactly as I have shown you earlier and find my little black dot and decide where to put that. But I think I will go for it. Yeah, perhaps there or there. But I will see when I have sewn this on, and I can show it to you when I have sewed these 2 on. And then I will decide what kind of stitching I want to do. But I know I want to use this strong orange here for this piece. And I have a snoot of thread left here, so I can use that. Okay, so this is what it looks like. And while I was stitching these 2 pieces on, yeah, I decided what more stitching I want to do. And I want to have a circle here of make a blanket stitch wheel. So I can show you how I do that. Again, I will take this here, but you can use anything to pre-poke or through. You can take a piece of felt or an old book or some cardstock or whatever you have. You can put your needle through. And I have a tin plate like this, but you can use anything. You could use this one, you could use a lid or whatever you have that is round. And when you do these blanket stitch wheels, don't make them too big, because then they are very difficult to make neat. So I think I will go for let me see the sizes here. I think I will go for this one here. So I will place it where I want to have it. And then I will just, let me see if I want it here. Yeah, that is probably okay. And then again, I will just poke holes with a couple of millimeters between. There, for the last one. Just, no, sometimes it can be hard to see where you start and where you have to stop, but there. So now I have pre-poked it, and now I need to find the middle, and in this case I have some marks here on my tin plate, so I know this is the middle here, and I have some marks there, so I will say here is my middle. And in this case here, this has a very fine needle in it, but I know that I will be quite crowded here in the middle, because I will be going up and down here. So I will just take my bigger needle and jog it through here, and punch it through here. You can easily make such a thing yourself. It's just a cork, and I have pushed the needle up in it and give it a dab of glue, and then you can use that. And if you use bottles from champagne or something like that, I don't encourage you to drink, but it is a nice one to hold on to. And you can make several of them, then you have several sizes of these needles, so your holes can be different. But this is the way it goes. You always come up in the circumference. I will remove this crazy color here. I really don't like that. So now I'm coming up here into circumference, and then I put my thumb on my thread and go down in the hole here in the middle. Then I come up in the next hole in the circumference and put my needle in the loop there, exactly like you do when you're doing normal blanket stitches. In the middle again, and up in the next hole, into the loop, and catch that there. The bigger distance you have between your holes, the more wonky the circle line will be, or the circumference will be. And I can see I have a pretty big space between mine, but I hope it is going to look okay. Next hole, and up here. And no knots, please. Here, there. Catch it in the loop and pull it through. In the middle again. Up in the next hole. Into the loop. Catch it. Yeah. And then it's just exactly the same all the way around. I have always liked to sew the blanket stitch, but these round circles here I really like. They look so good, I think. So here you can see now, again into the middle. Most people think they have to come up in the middle when they start, and that is where it often goes wrong for them. You have to start in the circumference, next hole, and up and in the loop. And here we go. So I will continue until I reach that point, and then I can show you how I close it off. Yeah, I haven't got much thread left, so let me see if I can do it, or else I have to renew my thread. And now there is so crowded in here, so I can nearly push my needle through here. And then you come up in the same hole where you started. There. Yeah, I think I would have to, yeah, I don't know if I can fix it, but into that loop here again. And in the real world I would go down in the same hole again, but I don't think I can do that, because yeah, it is secured now, but I would have very much have it go down here again. Perhaps I can do it like this, thread it again, and yeah, it is a little, I'm sorry it ended up like this, so it is a little awkward. Yeah, I think I will stop here and see if I can thread my needle, and then if I can, I will just drag my little snoot of thread through. I think I managed to get it through, so I will just pull it through here. So now I will have to manicure it a little. That was on the tip of my nails this year, and it could have looked more neat than it does here. So I think I will pick it up and make it so it looks a little more neat, but you just end up going around and down in the hole where you started. So this is perhaps better. Now I am into the last loop, so I have to come up in the loop, and I have to come up there where I started. So that is where my knot is. So I'm into the loop again, and now it is secured. And then I will just go down in the same hole again, and then everything is more nice. So this is how it looks. So I will just put some tape here on the back, here on my piece, if I can find the end. Yeah. But I will just secure that. Yeah. So it ended like this, and I really like these shapes here. So let us put the day on. And what was I saying? Day 96. And it is the 28th. Am I right? Let me see what I write yesterday. 95 it is. So it's the 27th of May. There it is. I was a little too quick. Yeah. Fine. So bye for now, and see you tomorrow. Hey, I have already made my piece for today. Yeah, I wish I also could make world peace, but I can't, sadly. But this is the piece I am come up with today. Again, a circle with just back stitches, and again I've just taken my tin plate and pre-poked all the way through here, so you get a nice circumference. My paper, black paper on there, and then my little star on the black dot there. And again, tea bag paper and 2 other kinds of papers. And I have already written on day 96, and it is the 28th of May. So not long, then this week also has flown by. So, ciao ciao, see you tomorrow. Hi, this is my piece from day 97. Yeah, rust-dyed fabric, another piece of fabric, some rust-dyed fabric again, the tea bag and the black heavy paper there and the little black dot. And here I've just make a row of straight stitches. Quite simple, but I really like this one. So again, I have just write it here on the back. So only one more day to go in this week here, and that's tomorrow. And tomorrow I will make it here. I will film what I'm making tomorrow. I have time for that. So until then, see you tomorrow. Hello, and welcome to day 89 here in my 100-day project. So it's the last day in this week with my earth tone scheme. So let us see what I can come up with today. I know I want to use this piece of fabric because, yeah, do I want it this way? Yeah, perhaps I do. Perhaps this way here, there's more contrast there than on the other side. So that is a big chunk of that I can use here because I have a lot of it. But again, I need to put my tea bag paper in here. And no, I think I will go for this one here. In what way and what, yeah, something like that. And I think that is all I will have for base, because I have this thin strip here and I think I want that to go all the way over. And again, a strip of this piece of very heavy black something. There is in all the other pieces to lie that up there. So that is what I think I would go for. So I will just glue these two things on, and then we can take it from there. Now these two pieces are glued on, and I will cut all the overhang off here. And I have 2 different scissors. This one can cut in everything, and this one is only for fabric. And here in the house there are death penalty if you take and use my scissors for something else than they are meant for. I'm very strict with these, because if you just use, it's okay to have one you just use for everything. But if you have very good tailor scissor or scissors meant for cutting in fabric, and you start using them cutting in paper, you ruin them. And therefore, keep away from my scissors. Use the one we have in the kitchen, or if we have he has his own workshop place in our basement there. He can use the scissors he has there, but don't use my scissors. Yeah, I'm normally quite I'm not so strict, or and I treat him well. That's not that, but but I really feel for this, because you can so easily ruin a good scissor by, for instance, I just need a scissor, I need to cut a wire, or I need to cut something, yeah, and then you have ruined it. So now this is what it looks like. Quite big pattern on here. So what was I talking about here? Where is that strip? It is here. And again, I really like these frayed edges, but this would just be hanging over here. So something like this. Let us see. Rust dyed piece of fabric. Yeah, and this one with all the holes in. And Perhaps I can take this one here, just cut it there or something. It's really, you have to use force to cut in this. Perhaps I could have, yeah, can I tear it? Yeah, I can, but that is also really tough. So I want to have them like this. And then the little black dots, here it is. I just want to put it here in the rustite. So this I will just glue on with my glue stick. And I have no troubles with gluing fabric down with a glue stick in for this here. It really doesn't bother me. Yeah. And the little glue on this here, just to keep it down so I can sew it on. And I think I will just cut it round here in this end here. So a little there. And again I will just squeeze it down, squeeze it down. There. And there was this little round one there. And I will just put it on the glue stick here. And down with it. You can see there was a little coming out. About there. And also turn it this way. So, oh sorry. Now I will have to figure out what color thread I want to use on the last one here. So I will look at the other ones and see if there's a favorite one. Oh, yeah, I think that looks nice. Yeah, I can cut this off. And here I will take this scissor, because this scissor must cut in everything. There. And I think I had it that way, but if it will end up that way, that is the nice thing about doing something that is round or squarish. You could always turn it to the four corners of the world and see which way you like it best. That's why I really love to work on squares also. Yeah, but I will be back when I have threaded my needle and figured out what color and what to sew. Yeah, I decided to go with this color here. So for a start, I will just sew the black piece on here. Oh, what's coming into here? There. Nothing difficult about that. Exactly like I have done with all the other pieces. So I will sew this up and make my little star-like stitch over that, and then I will come back, because then I hopefully also have decided what more to stitch onto the last piece here in this week. So done with the stitching, and I know I have made it this way, but I think I will turn it this way instead, exactly as I talked about before, because then I can also turn it this way. Because I think I want to make a line of feather stitches. Feather stitches down here, so I will go for that. So it can end up in the blob that down there. So let us go for that. So I know how to pre-poke the feather stitches. So I will just poke the one where I have to come up, because you can't really see it from the back. But I come up here and then I go down here, there, and then I pre-poke here, go into the loop there, and then you have your first little feather stitch. Then I go to the other side and poke. You can see I'm coming up there, so I poke to the right of that in the same level. Then there I have to come up. No, I don't. I have to go down, you stupid woman. There, and again I pre-poke here, and I come up and into the loop. I have so many small threads, they are tangling up here. So you can see it's like there is a middle row here. And then I go left, right, left, right, left, right all the time. Yeah, it isn't perhaps not the best color thread to use here in this color. It worked very well there. So should I take another color? I know all the other ones I have the same color all the way, but I think it is drowning a little here, this color. So again, artistic freedom or rights to decide to do something else. Just pick it up there and there, and then I can just cut it off there and take my tape and secure it. You don't need to see that. Then I will find another color and start once more. Okay, I think this is better. It is more visible. So again, I will just poke down here. And pre-poke that in the middle there. So I will down here and come up in the middle. Here, like that, and into the loop. Da-da-da-da, and there it is. So again, I will just pre-poke there and pre-poke there. So I will come up. No, I won't. I will go down again. I think I'm tired in my head today. But if you have any doubts about this pre-poking, you can always take a piece of paper and draw the way the thread runs, and then that way you can decide or see where to poke the holes. And that is perhaps the easiest way if you can't remember it. But I have done this stitch so many times, so I think I know now by my fingers know it by themselves where to poke and so on. But often it can also be like this. If you have done it many times, suddenly you do it wrong and you have to, oh yeah, but you probably all know that. So here and into the loop. And I really like to sew this stitch, not only here in the paper but also in pure fabric. And you can make so many variations with it. And now I'm going left, right, left, right, left, right, but you will also go 2 times right and 2 times left, or 3 times, and only to have a lot of these at one of the sides. So yeah, play with stitch. I think often it is like this, that many, because I'm doing many workshops and teaching, I often have students who, they want to learn so many stitches as possible. But on the other hand, they can't remember them all anyway, and they end up always liking some more than others. But instead of learning a thousand different stitches, I think it's the ones you like, play with them and see how you can develop them and what you can squeeze out of that stitch. That is much more interesting, I think. Now we are nearly into the little black dot here. So yeah, can I squeeze one more in? I think I can. And then I will say this is enough, and I will just go down in the same hole again here. There it is, and that looks quite yummy. So I will just go in, weave the end in here. I know I should put tape on, but I'm a little naughty today, so I will just do it like this. I think it will stay there. So that is how this piece ended up, and let us hurry up and write it here on the back. Day 98, and what was it? It is 30 of March 2026 there. A fine piece, this one here. So I will take a picture of all the 7 of them here at the end of the video, and a picture of the single ones also, and then I will say a proper goodbye to you. So here they are, all the 7 pieces belonging to week 14, and I can't believe I'm nearly done. 2 more days. I think this year the time has just flown so quick. So yeah, but perhaps it's because I'm getting older. Time goes so quick. That can also be why. But I have been enjoying working in this color scheme, and that is perhaps not a surprise for those of you who know me, because it's my favorite colors, these rusty colors, and I mix them with black to give them some contrast. But anyhow, I hope you have been inspired, and I hope you have learned some tips and tricks, and I especially hope to show you that you don't need much material to do things. And I also hope to open your eyes to see possibilities in things that are meant for something completely different, or things you would have thrown in the bin. Why save a strip of some black paper with some holes in? Yeah, I just save a lot of crazy stuff and mix them in my work, and that could give that personality, or that little extra something that other people don't have, because these things are your things, and that way it makes your work much more personal. And that is, for me, I think, one of the most important things, because we all can rush out in a patchwork store and buy patchwork fabrics, so we all could have the same fabric. but that's not so exciting. So it is much more exciting to have things you have done yourself, because maybe you have dyed your fabric yourself, or painted them yourself, or perhaps you have a friend you can change with a switch with, and perhaps you know someone who have leftovers where you can get a little extra from. And then see things in your surroundings so that when I'm out and about here, when I go shopping, my daily shopping on a big, there's a big parking square before the supermarkets or the shops there. And if there lies an old rusty bottle top or cap, I always pick them up because I use them when I rust dye. But I could also easily have put such a little bottle cap in here somewhere. In nature, there are so many things you can use there. For instance, here in my window, last time I was out and about, I picked all these small sticks up because I was, in fact, was thinking of putting them on here, and I would have loved to done that, but then I wouldn't be able to close the lid on my new box. So this just lies here in my window frame for another thing coming up. So yeah, see things, use things that were meant for something else, and use them in your work. It is much more exciting than going mainstream and do like all the other people are doing. Of course, only if you like these things. No one is twitching your arm to to do things you don't want to do. But yeah, I hope you get the meaning of what I mean. To open your eyes and see possibilities in things that also not cost you a dime. That is also a nice thing. But I don't think I would say much more here. I have 2 more days, and I don't know what I will do with these 2 days. But we will see. But right now I will just say thank you for watching this video, and thank you if you will give me a thumbs up or consider subscribing my little Danish channel, and certainly give me a comment. I like to have a correspondent with my community here to hear what they think and mean. That means a lot to me. So I don't think I would say much more now, other than please be playful, and please stay creative, and be nice to everybody. That's the only thing we people can do right now in this crazy world. So I will just say bye-bye for now, and take care of yourself and people around you. So bye-bye for now.